The Arari were a people of elegance and precision, inhabiting a world of vibrant landscapes, serene skies, and vast blue oceans. Their society had thrived for millennia, advancing in ways that allowed them to master elements of their environment with unparalleled skill. They believed themselves to be both protectors and architects of their world, maintaining a delicate balance between progress and preservation. However, no civilization, however advanced, is immune to the unforgiving laws of nature. A creeping disaster began to unfold, a phenomenon no one had anticipated, and one that grew too rapidly to contain. A toxic gas seeping from the planet's core began polluting their atmosphere and tainting their water sources. The Arari were meticulous, systematic, and experienced in environmental control, but nothing in their scientific arsenal could address this crisis. Their technology, though advanced, was unsuited for the type of sweeping devastation the toxins were causing. Cities began to struggle with breathing issues as the air became increasingly toxic, and once lush ecosystems shriveled under the poison's relentless spread. The Arari's pride in their self-sufficiency soon crumbled under the weight of the escalating disaster. In council chambers filled with desperate leaders, arguments flared, tempers snapped, and once united minds fractured over what course of action they should take. They debated solutions for days, exploring every technological option, but no solution emerged. The council soon acknowledged what their scientists had been hesitant to say aloud: they couldn't solve this on their own. The very thought brought discomfort to the Arari, who valued their independence fiercely. But as the environmental toll mounted, the council had no choice but to set aside their pride and reach out for help. They turned to the Galactic network, which connected civilizations spanning countless star systems. The council drafted an urgent message, one that conveyed the seriousness of their plight and the hope that one of the larger, more technologically endowed species would respond. The Talnari were the first on their list, renowned for their expertise in advanced environmental technology. A peaceful species with a penchant for benevolent oversight, the Talnari held influence over numerous worlds and were known for their knowledge in areas even the Arari could only dream of. If anyone could help, it would be them. Next on their list was the Riven Collective, an interwoven network of minds that transcended physical form. The collective's wisdom was legendary, and their technological capabilities were said to operate at a level incomprehensible to most other species. Arari scientists had studied the Riven's achievements for decades, marveling at the feats their hive mind could accomplish. The Council's hope rested on the belief that the collective might be intrigued by their challenge and provide insight into controlling the relentless spread of toxins. Lastly, they contacted the Zikar Union, a coalition of powerful planetary leaders who boasted control over vast resources and technologies tailored for planetary survival. The Zikar were known for their impressive infrastructure and grandiose planetary-scale engineering projects. With their help, the Arari believed it might be possible to construct a containment field, purifying the atmosphere and reversing some of the damage to their once beautiful world. Once the messages were sent, there was nothing left to do but wait. Council members who had been stalwart leaders now fidgeted and paced, anxiously checking for responses. Days passed, and the silence grew increasingly ominous. A week later, a single reply finally arrived from the Talnari. But their words held no promise. They offered only condolences, stating that, though sympathetic, they were currently engaged in their own large-scale project and could not spare the resources to aid the Arari. The Council's spirits were dampened, but they still held out hope for the Riven Collective. Another agonizing period of silence followed until, finally, a second message appeared. The Riven Collective's response was as cold as it was brief. Their time and efforts were currently invested in research with the potential to advance all sentient beings, and they regretted that they could not divert their focus. The last hope lay with the Zikar Union. As another week passed with no answer, the Arari began to fear the worst. Then, one evening, a message arrived. Unlike the others, it was neither cold nor dismissive. Instead, it was couched in diplomatic language that promised nothing but vague empathy. The Zikar Union regretted to inform them that, given the scope of their resources and priorities, they could not allocate assistance to an isolated issue on a singular planet. The council chamber was filled with silence as the final message played. The leaders sat, stunned, anger and grief etched into their faces. It was incomprehensible. They had been abandoned by the very civilizations they had always looked up to. With no recourse, they prepared for the grim task of managing their losses and enduring whatever fate had in store. In the days following the disappointing responses from the galactic powers, the Arari descended into a somber routine, a society bracing itself for survival rather than progress. Cities once known for their radiant beauty became haunted landscapes as the toxins continued to seep into the air, corrupting the essence of life. The council, though exhausted, pushed forward, holding continuous meetings with their scientists and engineers, hoping for a breakthrough, a miracle of some kind. But with every failed attempt, their hope dimmed, replaced by a gnawing sense of abandonment and helplessness. It was during one such late-night meeting, as they deliberated over potential evacuation plans and containment protocols, that an unexpected communication ping interrupted their discussions. The council members exchanged weary glances, not expecting anything of significance. Perhaps another message of sympathy from a smaller civilization, or worse, a reminder of their isolation. But as the screen flickered to life, they were met with an emblem unfamiliar to any of them, a symbol of Earth, a relatively small and often disregarded planet on the outer edges of known space. The Arari had little reason to think of humanity, a younger species with no grand technological feats to its name, barely integrated into the galactic network. In their studies and diplomatic endeavors, the humans were mostly considered a curiosity, a species with admirable resilience but one lacking the advancements seen in the more established civilizations. A figure appeared on the screen, introducing themselves as Commander Ella Mason, an envoy sent on behalf of the Terran Alliance. Her appearance was unremarkable to the Council at first, a straightforward, almost minimalist uniform, no elaborate decorations or symbols of rank. She spoke with a clarity and warmth that immediately drew their attention. Mason expressed her condolences for the plight of the Arari, acknowledging the environmental devastation and empathizing with the challenges they faced. The council members listened politely, unsure of what to expect from this unexpected interaction. But then, as Mason continued, the tone shifted. She assured them that Earth was prepared to offer aid, not in the form of mere words, but with action. She outlined an initiative her team had devised, a multi-phase plan involving the use of Earth's environmental technology, specialized drones, and airborne filtration systems that could help to temporarily stabilize the atmosphere, giving the Arari a chance to regroup and work toward a long-term solution. The council sat in stunned silence. Could it be true? The humans, who barely had a footprint on the galactic stage, were offering concrete assistance where far more advanced civilizations had refused. Their skepticism was understandable. As impressive as the gesture was, the Arari had little faith that Earth's technology could succeed where their own had failed. Sensing the council's hesitation, Mason offered a proposal, a demonstration. Her team would deploy a preliminary unit, a prototype system that could begin the filtration process on a smaller scale. They would set it up in one of the most polluted sectors of the Arari's capital. If successful, Earth would send a full fleet of these units to stabilize their atmosphere, buying the Arari valuable time. Faced with few other options, the Council agreed to the trial. They decided to observe, cautiously optimistic but prepared for disappointment. Mason thanked them, her calm demeanor never faltering, and promised that the first unit would arrive within the next 24 hours. As the transmission ended, the council chamber buzzed with quiet disbelief. Earth was offering help, not just help, but a solution, a real plan. Could this young, underestimated species actually bring relief where others had failed? The following day, as promised, a small Earth vessel entered Arari's airspace, carrying the prototype filtration unit. A team of human engineers, with Mason at the forefront, coordinated with Arari officials to set up the equipment in the heart of their capital's most affected area. Crowds gathered, watching the humans work with a precision and efficiency that surprised the onlookers. Despite their limited resources compared to the more established powers, the humans displayed a quiet confidence, a resilience born not of grand technology but of resourcefulness and determination. Once the unit was activated, it emitted a low hum, gradually dispersing a mist designed to neutralize the airborne toxins. The air quality monitors set up by Arari scientists recorded the changes in real time. To their astonishment, within hours, the toxins in the immediate area began to decrease. The once thick, choking smog lifted slightly, and for the first time in weeks, a faint hint of blue sky peeked through the haze. The council, monitoring the results closely, was astonished. They hadn't expected this level of effectiveness from the human's prototype. The test exceeded their expectations, giving them hope that perhaps, just perhaps, there was a path forward. The success of the prototype filtration unit spread across the Arari capital within hours, stirring the population. The device didn't just filter the toxins, it brought an almost immediate sense of relief to the city's inhabitants. People emerged cautiously from their homes and shelters, eyes widening in disbelief as the once persistent haze began to lift, revealing glimpses of their city with newfound clarity. Fresh air filled their lungs, a sensation they had nearly forgotten. A ripple of hope began to course through the city, a rare, precious spark in a society on the brink of despair. The council convened urgently, each member arriving with a mixture of excitement and cautious optimism. They analyzed the prototype's data, confirming that the reduction in toxins was not a fluke. The filtration process was effective, and preliminary projections showed that with a full-scale deployment, there was a real possibility of stabilizing their atmosphere long enough to develop a sustainable solution. For the first time, they had a feasible, immediate strategy to save their people. Over the next few hours, the council debated the proposal from Earth, weighing the implications of accepting full-scale assistance from humanity. While the initial results were promising, some members were wary. They questioned whether the humans' help came with hidden motives, considering Earth's limited position within the galactic hierarchy. Why had they, out of all civilizations, stepped forward when no one else had? Despite this skepticism, the overwhelming evidence in favor of the filtration technology made it impossible to ignore. Humanity's methods were unconventional, yes, but they had delivered tangible results, a feat that no other advanced civilization had even attempted. After a lengthy discussion, the Council voted unanimously to accept Earth's offer. A communication was sent back to Commander Mason, who responded with a message of gratitude and reassurance. Her response was characteristically humble and respectful, acknowledging the Council's concerns and confirming that Earth sought nothing in return beyond cooperation and the opportunity to demonstrate their technology's potential. Mason concluded with a promise: Earth would not let the Arari people down. Within days, a fleet of Earth's filtration units arrived, escorted by a team of engineers and scientists from various fields. The Earth crew coordinated closely with the Arari engineers to optimize the unit's placement and operation, targeting the most affected areas across the planet. Humanity's approach was refreshingly collaborative. They didn't impose themselves but instead respected the Arari's insights, adjusting their processes to fit the unique challenges of Arari's ecosystem. For the Arari, who had grown used to arrogance from other galactic powers, Earth's humility and genuine dedication were striking. As the full deployment took effect, the entire planet began to witness the results firsthand. Pollutants that had once blanketed entire cities were being steadily neutralized. In fields that had gone barren, traces of green began to return. Rivers that had long run gray with toxins started to show signs of recovery, their waters clearing. It was as if Earth's arrival had rekindled a long-dormant resilience within the planet itself, and the Arari people felt a renewed connection to their world, a bond they had feared lost forever. Word of Earth's intervention spread rapidly across the galaxy, drawing the attention of neighboring civilizations and even members of the Galactic Council who had previously dismissed the Arari's pleas. Delegations arrived to observe the humans' efforts firsthand, curious, and in some cases bewildered by the transformative impact of Earth's unconventional methods. Reporters and diplomats documented the astonishing turnaround, with footage showing Arari cities re-emerging from the shadows of pollution, alive with a new vitality. Humanity, a civilization many had once deemed inconsequential, was now being hailed as an unlikely hero. The human delegation, led by Commander Mason, handled the growing attention with grace, neither gloating nor downplaying their role. When questioned by other civilizations about Earth's technology, Mason was forthright, explaining that humanity had faced its own environmental crises over the centuries and had been forced to innovate to survive. The filtration technology, while not the most advanced by galactic standards, was born of necessity, resilience, and an unwillingness to let their planet fall victim to pollution and neglect. As the galactic representatives continued their inquiries, many of them came to a striking realization: humanity had endured struggles that mirrored the Ilari's own plight. Earth, though far from perfect, had weathered wars, resource shortages, and near-catastrophic environmental damage. They had survived these challenges not by waiting for rescue from other species, but through sheer determination and a willingness to adapt. This understanding resonated deeply with the Ilari, as they saw in humanity a reflection of their own fight for survival. Over time, the initial skepticism toward humanity's involvement faded, replaced by a deep respect and appreciation. Earth's assistance wasn't motivated by grand political ambitions or a desire for control. Instead, it stemmed from an empathy born of shared experience, a recognition of the Ilari's suffering, and a commitment to making a difference, no matter how small their voice had seemed within the galactic community. The Ilari Council, once doubtful, now openly praised humanity's contributions, inviting Mason and her team to join them in ceremonial gatherings where they expressed their profound gratitude. For the Ilari, these gestures were more than mere formalities. They were a public acknowledgement of Earth's role in restoring their world, a testament to the unexpected but invaluable bond that had formed between the two civilizations. As the filtration systems continued their work, the Ilari planet transformed further. Within weeks, air quality reached levels that hadn't been seen in decades, and people ventured outdoors with a renewed sense of freedom. The atmosphere was filled with cautious optimism, a tentative return to the normalcy they had once taken for granted. Schools reopened, parks that had long been abandoned were alive again with the laughter of children, and the skies, once obscured by thick smog, revealed the stars above. For the first time in recent memory, the Ilari felt a glimmer of hope for their future. Commander Mason and her team observed these changes with quiet satisfaction. They kept their focus on monitoring and adjusting the filtration units to ensure they would continue operating at peak efficiency. Meanwhile, the Ilari Council arranged regular meetings with Mason, consulting her on ways to sustain their ecosystem once the immediate crisis was under control. Through these discussions, Mason shared insights not only from Earth's technology but from humanity's broader struggles with environmental preservation, offering practical knowledge on how to balance progress with conservation. The Ilari, once skeptical, now found themselves genuinely listening to the humans. They realized that Earth's solutions weren't born from idealism but from hard-won experience. Humanity's story was one of survival through adaptation and humility in the face of overwhelming odds. This perspective resonated with the Ilari, who saw in Earth's journey a reflection of their own struggle against ecological collapse. The success of Earth's filtration units didn't go unnoticed by other galactic powers. Representatives from various planets visited the Ilari world, witnessing the drastic environmental recovery firsthand. Among them were envoys from some of the most advanced civilizations, including those who had initially dismissed the Ilari's pleas for assistance. These dignitaries were taken aback by the extent of Earth's impact, and many began to question their assumptions about humanity. The humans, whom they had once disregarded as a minor species, had demonstrated capabilities that rivaled, and in some cases surpassed, those of larger galactic players. The Galactic Council, which had once relegated Earth to a peripheral position in interstellar affairs, took special notice. For decades, Earth had been allowed only limited participation, often viewed as inexperienced and unremarkable. But the events unfolding on the Ilari planet challenged these preconceptions. Council members initiated formal discussions, considering the implications of Earth's technological achievements and the moral precedent they had set by coming to the Ilari's aid without expectation of reward or recognition. During one such council session, representatives debated whether Earth should be granted full membership, with all the rights and responsibilities afforded to recognized civilizations. This shift in opinion was a monumental change. For Earth, it meant a level of acknowledgement they had only hoped to achieve over centuries of incremental progress. Yet here they were, their commitment to the Arari people acting as a catalyst that redefined their standing among the stars. The shift in perspective wasn't just limited to political bodies. Civilizations across the galaxy began to hear of humanity's actions, sparking a groundswell of admiration. People were inspired by Earth's story, their resourcefulness, and their willingness to act without ulterior motives. Across planets, ordinary citizens discussed the humans as symbols of resilience and integrity. They admired how humanity had stood up for a cause that others had ignored, not out of obligation but out of empathy and shared experience. Back on the Arari planet, the collaboration between the two species deepened. The Arari scientists, who had initially viewed the humans as mere technicians, now saw them as equal partners. Mason's team shared Earth's knowledge of environmental stewardship, teaching the Arari methods to replenish soil, preserve water resources, and manage waste sustainably. These solutions were grounded in realism, acknowledging that true progress required both innovation and restraint. In response, the Arari shared their own advanced agricultural and biological technologies, forming a mutually beneficial exchange of knowledge. This symbiotic relationship enriched both civilizations, creating a foundation of trust and respect. Mason often reflected on how remarkable it was that, despite their initial differences, they had managed to forge a friendship rooted in their shared commitment to the Arari's survival. As weeks turned into months, the Arari experienced an ecological resurgence beyond what they had dared to imagine. Vegetation that had withered for generations began to bloom again, filling the air with the sense of a long-forgotten natural world. Rivers flowed with renewed clarity, and the vibrant colors of native flora returned to once barren landscapes. The people rejoiced, their spirits lifted by the tangible proof of their planet's recovery. In time, the Arari Council held a public ceremony to honor Earth's contributions. The event, attended by both Arari and human dignitaries, was held in the capital's central square, a space that had once been a symbol of decay but now stood as a testament to renewal. A statue was unveiled, depicting an Arari and a human standing side by side, their hands joined in solidarity. It was an emblem of the alliance that had formed between their peoples, a reminder that they had saved each other in more ways than one. Commander Mason stood before the crowd, humbled by the Arari's gratitude. She spoke briefly, acknowledging the privilege it had been to help the Arari in their time of need. But she emphasized that the real victory belonged to the Arari people themselves, who had shown courage and resilience in the face of adversity. Mason's words resonated deeply, her humility leaving a lasting impression on the Arari, who saw in her a leader unlike any they had known. As the ceremony drew to a close, Mason and her team were approached by representatives from neighboring planets, each expressing interest in Earth's environmental technologies. They wanted to learn from humanity's experience, hoping to avoid the same mistakes and to foster greater ecological balance on their own worlds. Mason welcomed these inquiries, seeing them as an opportunity to promote a philosophy of mutual aid and environmental stewardship across the galaxy. Humanity's impact had become more than a simple rescue mission. It was a movement that sparked a wave of change among countless civilizations. The narrative of Earth's unexpected heroism began to echo through the stars, reshaping how species across the galaxy viewed their own responsibilities to one another and to their worlds. The Arari, once isolated and overlooked, had become a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of unlikely allies. In the weeks that followed, a shift took hold within the Galactic Council. Inspired by Earth's actions, representatives proposed new policies to encourage cooperative assistance among member planets, prioritizing environmental protection and mutual aid. The idea of a universal commitment to planetary health gained traction, driven by Earth's example. For the first time in centuries, the Council adopted measures to promote interstellar support, ensuring that no civilization would face extinction in isolation. And so, what had begun as a desperate plea for help from a single, struggling planet became a legacy of hope and unity that reached far beyond the Arari system. Humanity's unexpected role in restoring the Arari world had rekindled a vision of cooperation across the galaxy, a vision that would guide generations to come. The galactic shifts ignited by Earth's intervention left a lasting impact, reaching far beyond the Arari system. With Earth's example of altruism at the forefront, interplanetary relations began to recalibrate. The Galactic Council, initially hesitant to engage in matters of environmental restoration for isolated planets, found itself reevaluating its policies. Council members debated how a single act from a smaller, less influential civilization had managed to succeed where advanced powers had faltered, driving home the point that status or technology alone did not guarantee wisdom or compassion. In response, they began to draft new legislation promoting ecological aid as a galactic priority. Across member planets, Earth's reputation evolved from a minor curiosity to a revered example of resilience and interdependence. Civilizations who had once dismissed humanity as inexperienced now saw their true potential. Notably, Earth had accomplished its mission without expecting profit or advantage. Their actions underscored an ideal that had been obscured in galactic dealings for centuries: that life, in all its diverse forms, held intrinsic value worth preserving. This approach struck a chord, leading to widespread admiration and even self-reflection among older, more powerful species. The Arari, overwhelmed by the unexpected turn of events, became active proponents for Earth's philosophies. Their gratitude extended into advocacy, and they became vocal about the need for comprehensive environmental support. Arari scientists and politicians joined efforts with Earth representatives to address the Council, detailing their planet's dramatic revival as a case study. Using tangible evidence of regrowth, improved air and water quality, and a restored ecosystem, they argued that coordinated assistance could create lasting change across the galaxy, just as it had on their world. Meanwhile, on Earth, Mason and her team became celebrated figures. Their success led to invitations from various scientific bodies and environmental coalitions. Governments recognized the team's achievement as more than just a planetary intervention. It was a testament to humanity's ethos and strength. Their story inspired young scientists, environmentalists, and even political leaders. Space agencies and environmental organizations on Earth began to push for new programs focused on interplanetary cooperation, urging the global community to consider the ethical implications of life beyond their own borders. Back on the Arari world, life continued to improve. With Earth's guidance, the Arari restructured their agricultural systems and revised industrial practices to protect their ecosystem. The once polluted cities saw renewed prosperity, with businesses and families able to thrive in an environment no longer poisoned by toxic air. The Arari adopted sustainable technologies inspired by Earth's environmental solutions, merging them with their advanced energy systems to create a unique hybrid model that both preserved and advanced their civilization. As Earth's reputation spread, civilizations that had struggled in silence began reaching out, no longer fearing ridicule or rejection. Planets across the galaxy that had once hesitated to voice their needs felt empowered by the Arari's success. They submitted requests to the Galactic Council, appealing for environmental aid to address various ecological issues. Inspired by Earth's example, these requests focused on collaboration and the importance of environmental resilience for all. In an unprecedented move, the Council initiated a program designed to provide systematic support to struggling planets, using Earth's environmental blueprint as a foundation. Within the Galactic Council, the newfound respect for Earth led to unexpected alliances. Planets previously unaligned with Earth in diplomatic matters began to see humans as valuable partners. As a result, Earth was extended an offer to participate in high-level council discussions, a privilege typically reserved for the oldest and most influential civilizations. This invitation marked a profound shift, allowing Earth to influence policy and contribute ideas on a galactic scale. Mason's leadership and her team's impact were not forgotten. Back on the Arari world, a monument was erected, a joint tribute to humanity and the Arari spirit of resilience. The statue depicted an Arari and a human standing side by side, representing unity and collaboration. Inscribed at its base were words from Mason's early discussions with the Arari Council, emphasizing that progress isn't measured by advancement alone, but by the strength of a civilization's commitment to each other. This sentiment resonated deeply, and over time, the monument became a place of pilgrimage, drawing visitors who came to honor the alliance and reflect on the values that had saved the Arari world. As Earth's impact continued to ripple through the galaxy, a new respect for ecological health took hold across civilizations. The Council established annual gatherings to discuss environmental initiatives, where Earth's representatives shared insights and developments. These gatherings became highly anticipated events, fostering exchanges between species that had little prior contact. The gatherings emphasized cooperation and a renewed commitment to the health of every planet, transforming Earth's narrative from one of humble beginnings to a guiding force for the galaxy. Back on Earth, Mason continued her work, advocating for sustainable practices and stronger bonds with interstellar communities. Her experiences became legendary, and she was frequently invited to speak at global summits, where her insights on interplanetary responsibility inspired leaders across nations. The mission's legacy was also a catalyst for change in Earth's own environmental policies, spurring advancements in sustainable technology and environmental protection. Humanity took pride in the fact that they hadn't merely assisted a distant planet but had rekindled a vision of unity that resonated universally. In the years that followed, Earth maintained its relationship with Arari and expanded its influence across the galaxy. A reputation that had once been peripheral now stood central to a new era of galactic solidarity. The legacy of Mason's mission encouraged countless planets to look beyond technological prowess and remember that compassion, resilience, and cooperation were the true markers of an advanced civilization. Thus, Earth's role in the galaxy transformed from that of an observer to a respected mentor and ally, bridging worlds and showing that true strength lay not in dominance but in unity and shared responsibility. And as humanity gazed at the stars, they knew that their journey was only beginning, but they would never again feel alone in the vastness of space.